Hello, and welcome to the Iron Spoon Kitchen. Peach recipes have been a part of America's history for over 250 years. They never faded away or got lost. But two things quietly disappeared over time. One is tapioca being used as a thickener. A lot of recipes today use flour or cornstarch, but this makes a difference. The second item is this little dish. It helps to absorb the juices and it also supports the crust. You just don't see it anymore in a lot of recipes. But this is the way my grandmother did it back in the 1930s, and I have her original recipe. This is going to be particularly good on our road to America's 250th birthday. So join me in just a few seconds as we begin Peach Cobbler. Well, now it's time to get these peaches done, and the recipe calls for 6 cups of peaches. And here's the original cookbook that I got this from my grandmother, and there's the recipe. I'll give you a close-up of it a little bit later. Well, I'll give it a close-up now. There you go. So I'm going to take this cookbook, I'm going to set it to the side so I don't mess it up, and I made a copy of the recipe. So we're going to start off with 6 peaches, but I only have 4 here, so you know what that means. Need to go to the larder. So let me get that. I'm telling you, one of these days I'm going to get that thing fixed. It is hung up there good. Just a second. There we go. Got it. Whoa. So to do this, we need about 9 to 10 peaches. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should work. It almost fills up the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and start peeling those and then cutting them up. And that's probably the longest part of this. And then of course I need to make the paste also that will go on top. But let's go ahead and start working on this, and probably need to fast forward this because I don't think you want to watch me peel 10 peaches. Unless you're a fan of the apple pie episode. First episode ever made. It's gone down in history, or it's just gone down. So let me go ahead and get this started with all our peaches. We're on our last peach, number 10. Then I'll cut them up. One of the interesting facts about peaches is that they actually came from China like 8,000 years ago and were brought over to the United States back in the, well, when the Spanish first came, back in the 1500s, 1600s, and eventually, you know, it made it all over the United States. In fact, one of the varieties of the peach is grown almost everywhere in the United States. Especially, I think around the 1800s, early 1800s, and around 1875 is when Georgia starts to plant that particular one. In fact, I'll show you some pictures of that in just a second. All right, I've got these all peeled. Now it's time to cut them up. On these peaches, they're not hard and they're not soft. It's sort of in between there. And that's really what you want. Now, they can be really soft, but it makes a big difference using fresh peaches versus canned. If you use canned, more than likely it's going to be pretty mushy. But maybe that's all that you have, and so if you want to have peach cobbler, you have to use it from a can. But in this case, we have nice fresh peaches, and although in Texas we have lots of great peach orchards, they're not quite ready yet. And so these are from California, some big family farms up there that I've learned about. So I'm going to start cutting these into slices. And while I do that, here's a couple of pictures that I came across I thought you'd be interested in. The first one, well, this is of a box of peaches from Fredericksburg, Texas. They've been known for their peaches for many, many years. And here's a picture from picking peaches in East Texas from 1911. And here's a picture of a farmer doing some picking. This photo is probably from around the 1950s. And here's that Alberta variety that I briefly mentioned earlier that's grown all over the United States. Take a look at how pretty that tree is when it's in blossom. And here's a close-up of the blossoms. Isn't that beautiful? I've got all the peaches chopped up, as you can see. I'm going to add my ingredients. And one of the key ingredients, though, is this tapioca. And many of the peach cobbler recipes just call for flour or cornstarch. But tapioca is the thing that makes a difference. And we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of that because it doesn't make it cloudy, and it helps make it clear and glossy, kind of like jam. And so that's why you want to use tapioca in this. And this is just the Kraft Minute Tapioca. You don't need the great big pearls or anything like that. In fact, come on over here a little closer and you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to make this dough pretty much the shape of this board here. And one thing I did is I marked the different measurements on here, the inches on it, so I would know exactly what to do. So I have like 6, 12, 18 inches. I'm going to fold this over so I can get it on top of my peaches. Just going to set it to the side for right now. Now I'm going to add a little bit of butter to it. That's what the recipe says. It says to dot it with butter. I remember my grandmother doing something like this when she did it. She just would take little pieces and stick them on there, so it's not a whole lot. Probably about 2 tablespoons when it's all said and done, maybe 3. Okay. Now, let's try to get this paste on the top. Yep, wrong way. There we go. I still have not perfected this part of cooking yet. But I tell you, it's going to be good. So we'll just sort of patch that up there with some of the extra stuff. We do want it to be tight on the edges, actually. a little patch there. Now we need to mark an X here. We're going to peel this back so that it can vent. Just fold it back like that. Good. And then we'll just put a few more vents in there also. That should come out. And now we're going to put a little bit of milk wash on there. My grandmother's recipe says to use cream, but I don't have any cream, but I've got this whole milk. And I know that generally has worked for me in the past. And this just makes it a little bit browner. Okay, that's got it. Not the prettiest, but I think it's going to taste good. So this is going to go into a 400-degree oven for until golden brown. So I figure that's probably at least 45 minutes or so, but we'll see. Oh, that is looking good. I'm about to take it out of the oven. Well, the fragrance and aroma in my kitchen is wonderful right now. This peach cobbler is just making everything smell great. I already scooped myself out a little bit, so let's give it a taste. I love peach cobbler, maybe as much as baklava, but this came out delicious, and I hope that you'll try it too. As I said at the beginning, in going over 250 years of recipes, this peach recipes never got lost or forgotten. We still have them, and peach cobbler has been around for all that time in one way or another. But it was neat to have my grandmother's book here, cookbook, and to have that original recipe in there as well, right here. I think I showed you a close-up of it earlier. But I didn't realize that we even had that recipe until fairly recently. My sister pointed it out to me. Well, if you got this far, you probably liked it, so please hit that like button. And if you're so inclined, go ahead and subscribe, because I want you to keep coming back for these wonderful episodes on our 250th anniversary of our country. So next week, tune in again to see what our 5th episode will be on the road to 250. Thanks for joining me today, once again, in the Iron Spoon Kitchen.